So with a little bit of playing around, we realized that, first of all, if we're going to do a line like this one, y equals x plus 1, we notice, first of all, that that anything with the same gradient, the lines are going to be parallel, right? So, for example, if I did y equals x plus whatever it might be, 5 or 3, 2, and whatever it might be, right? Then it's going to be parallel. So that's one thing, right? So if it has the same gradient, it's parallel. The intercept has the same c value as in from y equals mx plus c. It has the same c value. It's going to intercept at the same one. So for example, this one, if I click on that equation there, they both intercept at the same value. So that bit was easy. It's the perpendicular lines that were the tricky ones. We found out that those two are perpendicular. Okay. We found out that these two are perpendicular and that these two are perpendicular. So first of all, we notice there's a pattern here. The first bit of pattern we should notice is that if it's got a positive gradient, the perpendicular gradient will be negative. Okay, so that was plus 1, negative 1, plus 2, negative 0.5, plus 3, negative 0.3 recurring. Okay, now you might have noticed another pattern after that. So I'm going to pause this video and see if you can tell me what the other pattern is. So basically, if I look at this one, these pair and this pair, then the gradient, although it's negative, on the one hand it's negative, but it's also 1 over the other gradient. That's the thing that we should notice. Let me just get my annotate thing here. So so basically, if we look at how does 0.333 relate to 3? How is that? How are those two related? Well, 0.333 is equal to 1 over 3. Likewise, 0.5 is equal to 1 over 2, right? And here we got 1 and minus 1. Well, 1 is equal to 1 over 1, right? So the negative gradient, the the perpendicular gradient, is equal to what we say, the phrase we use is the negative reciprocal. Reciprocal. I'll explain those words. We know what negative means already. It just means it's negative, right? But obviously, if vice versa, right? If the gradient was already negative, then the negative of the negative would be positive, right? So we could switch it around and say, what's the gradient of what's the perpendicular gradient of this? Well, the negative of minus 1 would be plus 1. The reciprocal just means 1 over whatever it is. So if the gradient, if the first equation was y equals mx plus c, the perpendicular gradient, which what should we call that? We'll call that MP, perpendicular gradient. Well, MP would be equal to 1, so minus 1 over m. So the negative reciprocal means, the reciprocal means 1 over whatever it is, 1 over x, 1 over whatever we're doing the reciprocal of. The negative reciprocal will just be minus 1 over x. Yeah? So what's the negative reciprocal of 5? I'll tell you, it's minus 1/5. What's the negative reciprocal of 3? I'm gonna speed these up because I want to get them in the video. Okay, it's minus 1/3. What's the negative reciprocal of 2? Negative 1/2. Okay. What's the negative reciprocal of 4? Right, negative 1/4, yeah. So what's the negative reciprocal of -2? Yeah, exactly. All right. So negative reciprocal means 1/, whatever, and then the negative of that 1/. Thing. Okay. That is how you calculate, that is how you work out um the perpendicular gradient. Okay. And that's what this is showing. All right. So let me just pause.